Next chapter, as we're studying perception, is think differently. And Ryan Holiday nails it with choosing the perfect example of someone who did this, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs always thought outside of the box. If you've seen documentaries or movies, his biography, you know something about Steve Jobs is that he would push the limits. He was known for having this reality distortion field, is what they called it, which I just love. If you thought something was impossible, you just weren't thinking about it the right way. He would push those limits. If you told him that that kind of mouse couldn't be created, you're fired. And someone who says that, I'll go make that mouse, was hired in your place. When the manufacturer was like, there's no way we can make that amount of glass for the iPhone in time, he said, there will be a way. And sure enough, manufacturers would make it happen. He was always thinking completely outside of what others would see as realistic. What Steve Jobs learned early on is that reality, or at least humanity's view on reality, was boxed in by all of these rules and compromises that we've made in order to protect ourselves, probably, in order to be free from disappointment. But that when we tried to follow those rules, we would err on the side of accomplishing nothing. And so if we wanted to be creative and really push the boundaries, we had to have this certain disregard for reality and think completely outside of the box. So those rules and compromises that humanity has created, probably in order to protect us, ends up feeding us a series of stories that will come out as doubts. They're either doubts that are gonna come from the peanut gallery when we put an idea out, or they're gonna be the self-doubts that come up when we're trying something new. The thing that we need to think about is that almost always the initial doubts that come out are gonna be rooted in fear. And any of those initial doubts that come out as rooted in fear should be disregarded and challenged, and we should push forward from there. Of course, we ourselves don't control reality. However, our perceptions, the way that we choose to take in the information and act upon it, that does have a huge influence over our reality. When something seems impossible or close to impossible, rather than that being an obstacle, Steve Jobs, and the invitation is for us too to see it this way, that's an opportunity. Because when there's almost nothing to lose, because something is seen as impossible anyway, that's the opportunity to be the most creative, which leads to the final line of this chapter, and I think one of my favorite quotes of the book is this. Pay attention. Our best ideas come from there, where obstacles illuminate new options. That idea that obstacles illuminate options hit me super hard. Think about the worst scenario that you've gone through, or that you could potentially go through. You lose your job, or the company that you created crumbles. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why you could see that as being a really terrible thing. But also, when have there ever been more options than in that moment? Obstacles illuminate options. And when you focus on the options that are created, and you're not limited by the rules and compromises of reality, and you can think outside of the box and get in the creative zone, that's where real movement and progress can happen.